Babe D'Ignazio put together these So Long Gang events in media. He'd hold them about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then guys would get on the bus and they'd go up to 401 North Broad or wherever they were going at that time. It was right on Veterans Square over there, right in front of the townhouse. They had the So Long Gang and let them know that some people were with them. See, it was all the Vietnam guys that really carried this thing on. Took the mantle and just moved forward with it. The parade that they had from Rose Tree Park to me was outstanding. That crowd in that day was, I don't know how you can even express it. It was just an outstanding, it was an outpouring of Delaware County, and made such I think an impression, not only on the soldiers that had served and were coming back, but I think on the younger kids when they saw what was going on. I think that was really the beginning of treating the Vietnam veterans a little better than what they had received in the past. Because I think that was the basic reason behind the whole thing. Hey, we didn't do anything for these guys when they came home. Let's start doing things for these guys now. You had that mixture of Desert Storm and you had the Vietnam veterans right along with them. The Vietnam veterans were part of the parade. They were, it was more or less their welcome home as well too. Over the years, they can see the parades have been, they were one of the biggest things in Delaware County. I think the Veterans Day Parade. I had the honor of being the Grand Marshal one year. I remember Senator Bell, he would always attend all the Veterans Day parades. He was always a Delaware County's character, I'd call him. So we had Tim Russard, but I think one of the best parades we had was when we had Tom Ridge, Joe Loper, and Matt Ryan all at one time. You had the governor, the Speaker of the House, and the Majority Leader of the Senate all at one time on a stage. Senator Dole came, and I think he was probably one of the most outstanding because of what he went through in World War II. The one in media is considered the best one. Always considered not only everybody's hometown, but it's my hometown.
When I came home, I put everything aside. I had nothing to do with veterans organizations, nothing really to do with the military. Just went on with life and worked. And when I became elected in media in 1981, periodically I would represent Borough Council as a veteran on Borough Council at parades, but nothing more than that. Until 1991. In 1991, Kurt Weldon organized a farewell to veterans going to Kuwait. And he organized a march from the Granite Run Mall and the Springfield Mall, people coming from two directions, to media. I somewhat helped him organize it. They had, as a host, the guy who said, "Good morning, Vietnam," who did the radio show. It became a very popular event, very crowded. So Congressman gave me a couple minutes to speak, and when I stood up and spoke, I thanked everybody for coming, and I said, "This is great. When they come home, we should organize a welcome home for them, and it should be done by Vietnam veterans." April 28th, 1991, we organized a welcome home at Springhaven Country Club. We had a golf tournament in the afternoon. Richie Ashburn was part of it. Rocky Blyer, who had played for the Steelers and was in 4 Super Bowls and played at Notre Dame, he was our guest speaker, guest host, and he served in Vietnam. He got wounded in Vietnam. Thought never to play football again and went on to be in 4 Super Bowls. So that was our first flag passing event. We had 18 veterans who had served in Kuwait, and we had 18 Vietnam veterans that passed flags that evening after the dinner at Springhaven. Then the following week, we put together a parade from media to Rose Tree Park. The 82nd Airborne, many of them who returned from Desert Storm, were part of the parade. And we had a very emotional one-on-one flag passing ceremony as They walked up, it was well attended, and so we thought we're getting pretty good at this. So we asked Channel 6 if they would support us in an effort to have a Welcome Home parade on July 4th in Philadelphia. It became a Welcome Home down Chestnut Street, from the Art Museum down Chestnut Street, with 300 and some thousand people in attendance along that long parade route. Channel 6 televising it live, and I got to introduce the flag passing ceremony. This was the first major flag passing ceremony. It was organized on the way down the parade route. We had several hundred Vietnam veterans and several hundred Persian Gulf veterans returning. The parade is going on with vehicles, with marching bands, and then as it's starting to get dark and Channel 6 is televising, the parade comes out of the dust. It looks like like the dust as they're announcing on Channel 6, and here come the Persian Gulf veterans and the Vietnam veterans walking side by side. So what I didn't know at that time was there's a pause in the parade when Channel 6 broadcasts it for commercials, et cetera, and lead-ins. So during those commercials and lead-ins, Jeff White has everybody pulled aside up on 7th or 8th Street, teaching them how to do the flag passing ceremony, because he had organized it at the previous two events we had had in April and early May. So I'm watching, and as they're coming down, I get to introduce the participants who are watching. World War II veterans, representations of World War II veterans, Korean War veterans. Actually, a World War I veteran was introduced. And I also got to introduce the Gold Star mothers. And the big factor was the flag passing ceremony amongst fathers with sons. I guess I started doing the Veterans Day Parade in media, organizing it in '91 and '92. And for 20 years, Harry Callis was my partner, broadcasting the Veterans Day Parade. Everybody was thrilled to have Harry Callis announce their name during the Veterans Day Parade. We had worked to try to get a donation to the new World War II memorial. And in Pennsylvania, through John Patton, General John Patton, who was the adjutant for Tom Ridge, he wanted to give $2 million to the World War II memorial. Originally, the state was going to give $1 million. Then we knew New York was going to give $1.5 million because they had 1.5 million veterans in New York. So we wanted to top New York. So we matched the highest donation, which was the American Legion, who had given $2 million to the memorial. We gave $2 million. And Bob Dole came to the parade to receive the $2 million. Tom Ridge and the leadership of the House and the Senate were on stage to sign the check. We considered that the beginning, not only of the resurgence of the Veterans Day Parade, but it also became the reason for what became the Pennsylvania Veterans Museum, for what became the Veterans National Education Program, and what became the Veterans Legacy Project. It was Tom Ridge's vision. He stood before the camera and said, what we need is for veterans to talk about our service and to teach children our history through the eyes of those who served. So he was the inspiration for it, and that is what we still do today. In our flag passing ceremony, to not only have flags passed from one generation to another, it was of those who served in war, for instance, Vietnam veterans to Persian Gulf veterans, but it was to pass flags from parents and grandparents to their sons, their daughters, their granddaughters, their grandsons, so that they would always remember the service of their loved one who served. When Bob Diamond joined the Veterans Legacy Project in the late 90s, he basically became a partner of mine in putting together not only the Veterans Day Parade, but the Memorial Day Parade. and other events. Also, we had a welcome home parade in 2016 for Vietnam veterans and others to welcome home those that served in Iraq and those that served in Afghanistan. Bob Diamond was part of a group that welcomed home his son. He had a flag passing ceremony with his son to welcome his son back from Iraq. Other people also joined in welcoming home their sons.
Moved to media and became involved with the Memorial Day and Veterans Day parade, basically in media. And from that, became involved with the Veterans Legacy Project. And what the Veterans Legacy Project is then Governor, he was then Governor Tom Ridge, the Mayor of Media, Bob McMahon, and myself, got together realizing that we were losing 1,000 veterans every day. And with that, especially World War II veterans, and with that we were losing their stories. And when we were losing all that history, the Veterans Legacy Project was begun to try to get those stories before we lost all the veterans.